Hello, hi, welcome to the new video. Here in this particular video, I'm sharing my one of the recent interview experience. As a part of that, I already did a video for first round of a discussion, and the role was a DevSecOps engineer, and this was the video especially for second round of interview. Okay, so without further ado, let's have a discussion around the questions and the responses and some additional tips at the end of the video that will be helpful, very much helpful, if you are especially preparing in this domain. Okay, in DevOps, DevSecOps, cyber security, that means related to security aspect, and operations, SRE. Okay, so without further ado, let's enter into the video and discuss about the questions. And if you see the job description also, I mentioned OPA and some client specific tools. Okay, so they covered the tools also in this particular interview, and something advanced they asked, and I put here all the questions whatever I remembered and gathered from the recording, and I will definitely put this in the description also. By that you can take and that will be helpful for your future preparation. Okay, let's move on. First question was as usual, the general communication was happened, like introduction, formal introduction, and the interviewer, obviously in the second interview it will be a different person, and the question was how do you implement OPA? OPA is basically open policy agent, we can say, and Gatekeeper to block privileged containers in a Kubernetes cluster. It is basically how can you make sure whatever the containers we are using, we need to block according to the privileges whatever we are giving. Okay, so we can deploy a gatekeeper as a validating admission controller in the cluster level, and then we can create certain constraint template by using a OPA, open policy agent report, to detect if something like security content dot privileges is true. Once the constraint is applied, any pod trying to deploy that's with that particular setting which specifies it true will be rejected automatically. And I have personally and in the project level also tested in the development environment first before going to the production environment. Okay, and moving to the next question, explain a step-by-step workflow for scanning IAC Terraform before provisioning in production. Okay, so IAC is basically infrastructure as a code. What exactly the question is, how can you scan the workflow, whatever the file you got the regarding infrastructure creation, how do you scan before growing, before you applying in the real time, before applying that in the production? Okay, first of all, whenever edited the TF file, Terraform file, or created a Terraform, developers submits the PR request with the specified edited files, and once the PR request is approved, then it will commit to the main branch, and the pipeline triggers. We have integrated Trivi as a tool and Sneak in different projects. In the same project, we haven't used both. We have used both, but for different use cases. Okay, Trivi is for container image scanning, and Sneak is for IAC scanning, infrastructure as a code file scans. Okay, the placeholders is in the CI/CD pipeline, and that will scans the Terraform files. And if there is, that will basically what it does was, if there is any misconfigurations like CIDRs or some public S3 buckets, okay, that will basically highlight that in the IAC scan, okay. And if any critical issues are found, we can set up a condition like if this is the criticality, then you cannot pass the build to the next stage, the pipeline to the next stage. Like that we have set up a kind of logics, okay. And after that particular approval, the pipeline runs the Terraform plan, and before applying a Terraform plan, and which is kind of peer reviewing purpose, and the final stage runs Terraform apply with backend logging, and we can audit the logs if any error was occurring, okay. And this is how we are going to use Terraform IAC file scanning, okay. And the third question was, how do you manage and rotate secrets across CI/CD? It is basically maintaining a secrets in CI/CD pipeline and Kubernetes and cloud platform security. Yeah. Secrets, how you are managing securely among these environments, CI/CD, Kubernetes, and cloud platforms. Basically, we used to store like credentials in the AWS Secret Manager, and in some cases HashiCorp Vault also, and we use IAM roles or some Kubernetes service accounts with minimum least privileges, and we inject the secrets using the external secrets operators within the gates, and for especially CI/CD, pull secrets at runtime using secured APIs, and rotation is scheduled via the tools like Secret Manager or some automation scripts, okay. And this is how we can manage. And the next question is regarding the GitLab pipeline. Can you walk me through the GitLab pipeline you have designed with multiple integrated security gates, okay. So here basically they need to understand like what is the flow of the GitLab, what I have like in the project I have used, and what is the scope of knowledge I have, okay. So my GitLab pipeline includes a pre-commit where git leaks we have added a placeholder, and snick also for dependencies check, and in the build stage those will be covered in the pre-commit, and then build stage we have SAST tools by using SonarQube and like different tools we perform SAST, basically SonarQube we can say, okay. And some for your note I am saying here some responses whatever I am giving, I am restrict to the like most popular tools, okay. And there are wide variety of tools which are used in my client level and in my organization, so I don't wanted to take that names, so I wanted to take some kind of popular open source tools, by that you can also include that if needed. And if sometimes there might be a like policy compliance issue like regarding the information disclosure, so that's why only I am not disclosing like client level specific tools, okay. So understand, okay. Moving to the next stage, like after the build stage, like post build stage will be there, where we are going to integrate Docker like image scanning tool, especially Trevi, that will build a image in that particular stage, build post build stage, and then we are going to scan the image by using a Trevi as a Docker image scanning tool. And then post build the deployment stage will come into picture, and where we are going to validate the manifest files and Helm lint, and configuration test will be performed in that deployment stage. And in each stage had a kind of thresholds we have set up, like critical findings. If occurred, we can fail a pipeline, or else we can bypass it. Like that, based upon our requirement, we have set up a kind of logics behind that. And moving to the next question, suppose your container image scan reports critical CVE. Okay, after image scanning through the Trivi as a application, let's say for example, you got a critical CVEs, but the dev team insist to on deploying. What you will do in that particular case? First of all, in this particular case, we are going to assist. Sorry. We are going to perform a kind of patches, like check the exploitability level of that CVE, like vulnerability, and if there is any availability in the patches, we will apply that. If if it is in the exploitable range, then we can definitely block the deployment. And if it is not in the like that critical exploitable, and we can temporary execution can be done, and there is a certain policies within the snake or Trivi, and we can notify that. If you see the snake, it will perform a GUI also, user interface also, where we can loop the developer. We can trigger a notification to the developer regarding the particular vulnerability, high CVE findings, and the developer team will upgrade the dependencies, or like whatever it was missing, as soon as possible. Okay, and yeah, moving to the next question, how do you write and test custom OPA repo policies on Kubernetes admin controls? Kubernetes admission control, I think. Okay. Basically, OPA, as I said, it was a open policy agent, and in the job description also they have mentioned. So that's why I didn't work personally on this OPA, but I just got a overview, like what exactly this and what is the purpose of that. And regarding how can we write and test a OPA like repo policies within the Kubernetes admin control. What we can do was we can write a condition in such a way where, let's say example, it should disallow the host path, and once it was verified, we are going to deploy as a gatekeeper, and constraint like a template, and we need to constraint with the template, and perform a dry run a test model for in the lower privileges environment before enforcing that policy, okay, into the production level. Okay, and if you haven't got my responses or understand that, please try to search on your own. By that you will get an idea. Okay, and obviously everyone is not at all perfect in everything, so there might be some mistakes or faults from my end also, so a simple correction. Okay, note I am saying. Okay, moving to the next question. What is the difference between SAST, DAST, and SCA? Where do you apply each in your pipeline? Basically, SAST is static application security testing, where we are going to perform a static code scanning, example by using SonarQube. Okay, within the pre-build stage, or else build stage also we can perform. Okay, and DAST is basically dynamic application security testing, where we are going to test or scan the dynamic, that means testing a live application website. Okay, and that will we used was ZAP, Z Attack Proxy, which is from open source. Sorry, which is from OAPS. It is also a open source, and this will comes under the staging environment. Okay, and SCA is basically software composition analysis, where it will checks the dependencies, libraries, third party or internal libraries, everything will be listed. Okay, and the tool we have used was OAPS dependency check as well as Snake. Okay, it will performs the SCA, and it will come in a placeholder. If we talk about SDLC, software development lifecycle, within pre-commit, this SCA stage will come into picture. Okay, and moving to the next question, describe how you would automate Kubernetes compliance checks. Example, CSI benchmark. I think it is regarding some policy and compliance question. Basically, we can investigate the network policies first. If there is a sorry, one moment. Especially for Kubernetes compliance checks, there is a tool like a Kubebench and KubeSpec, where we can run that within the CI pipeline, and that will reports if there is any compliance misconfiguration or something like that, and we can also push the specific reports into the ELK of AWS and AWS service, and Grafana also for maintaining certain track like traceability. Okay, and we can also set up a alert from Grafana to set up whether, based upon the report. And moving to the next question, you notice Kubernetes pods are communicating across namespaces unexpectedly. Communicating across namespaces unexpectedly. What steps do you take in this particular case? Okay. First of all, we are going to investigate network policies. If it's not present, then we can enforce to restrain certain ingress or egress, and we can also audit a service accounts and look for certain misconfigurations within the DNS level, and all logs are reviewed for some anomalies using Elasticsearch log monitoring from AWS service. And the next question was, how would you securely inject secrets into a container running in EKS without using environment variables directly? Okay. In this particular case, we can use external secrets operator to fetch from AWS Secret Manager and mount as a volume. Okay, and alternatively we can also use the Kubernetes secrets encrypted with KMS, key management system, and mount them using a CSS driver, and this will also avoid environment variables exposure and keeps the secrets securely. Okay, and describe the time when you had a troubleshoot with a failed deployment due to security tool integration. Okay, yeah, exactly. We have faced multiple scenarios like this. Once Trevi failed. Trevi failed a GitLab pipeline build stage itself due to some false positive CVE identified in the base image. Okay, and we have verified the vulnerability that wasn't applicable and suppressed that in the particular from the report. Okay, and I also worked with the like image maintainer who is maintaining and developed the image to report the certain misclassifications. Okay, and we added some suppression list in that for like actual verified false positives. Okay, and that is how we managed. And how would you integrate Trevi into the Jenkins pipeline to scan your Docker images and break the build if needed? Okay, definitely. uh, I mean, this particular stage will falls as a scan image stage. We can specify the stage as a scan image stage, and under the step we need to write a like a script in the sh, like the script would be like Trevi, which is already installed. I mean the Trevi exe also we can use, and a Trevi name also we can use if we set up enrollment variables. And the image, whatever the image, we need to type image after the Trevi word, Trevi image and image name, and tag also we need to give. And we need to write a condition like hyphen exit hyphen code 1. Okay, and hyphen severity critical high, based upon our requirement condition we can say. Okay, and what exactly this particular command it does was, let me write a command on the screen. Trevi, sorry, what was the question? 12th question. Okay, let me take a pen. Yeah, Trevi image and image name. Okay, here image name will come, and tag also will come. Okay, name of the image here and tag here. Okay, and hyphen it will be in the same continuation, hyphen exit code 1. Basically exit zero exit code, what it does was it will fail the job. Okay, we can keep other than non-zero code, other than 0 we can keep any code. I am keeping 1. And hyphen we can write severity, we can write critical. This should be in capital. Okay, why? Because the document also specifies the same. Like this we need to write. Okay, and let's say if any critical finding is find out, this job will fail. Okay, this entire job will fail. And also if for high also we need to fail the job means comma we can write HIGH. Okay, and this should be in a single quotation. Okay, and yeah, this is the actual command we need to write. And moving to the next question, what is the difference between, I explained that very much clearly by sharing my screen and writing the particular command. Okay, what exactly it does. Non-exit one ensures the build fails if some vulnerabilities of the selected severities are found. Okay, and moving to the 13th question, what is the difference between cluster, sorry, yeah, okay, what is the difference between cluster role and role in Kubernetes or back role-based access controls, and when would you use each of them? Okay, role is basically to grant the permissions within a namespace. Okay, and cluster role, it will grant a permissions cluster wide. Okay, and or else we can say across all the namespaces. Okay, within a namespace is called role, and across all the namespaces is called cluster role. Okay, we can use role when access is limited to one particular namespace, and a cluster role when managing a global resources. Examples we can say nodes and volumes, like persistent volumes. Okay, and the next question was, how do you enforce that all developers use approved base image while building Docker containers? Okay, this is kind of a question where we can expect general question. Okay, with respect to security, if you are a DevSecOps engineer, then obviously you might have faced this kind of issue. Okay, and also for DevOps also they will ask why, because I mean, not only security team need to take care, as a DevOps team you need to also know and take care of that. Okay, first of all, in this particular case, we can create some authorized sign based images and push into a private registry first. Okay, and we can write a repo policy by using, in this case, OPA, we can say open policy agent, to allow only image from specified repo tags. Okay, we can explicitly specify the image tags instead of latest. Okay, enforce the policy is in CI and at admission control in Kubernetes. That is how we can manage the only developers can enforce, like base images are using securely after that. Okay, moving to the next question. In Terraform, how do you prevent accidental exposure of sensitive resources like S3 bucket or security groups? Okay, we can use I think relevant question we already discussed regarding the Terraform IAC file scanning. We can use Snake. It will perform a kind of scan. And one moment, how do you prevent accidental exposure of sensitive resources like S3 buckets or security groups? Yeah, that is the one thing, like scanning. And in the policies also, we need to make sure like whatever the scan which is scanners we are using, that need to be identified. If it is public, if it is true, then that need to be identified, that need to be flagged. Okay, and maintain a kind of it requires the approval for Terraform plans using like policy as a code method. And we need to make sure set up a S3 bucket policies and ACL modules with strict conditions. Okay, that is the thing. And the next question was, what are the best practices for handling false positives in vulnerability report without compromising security? It is also kind of generic question, but very much important question. How do you manage a false positives? Okay, and in this case, we need to validate the issues manually, and we need to suppress with proper. I mean, if any false positive are find out after the validation, we need to suppress them with kind of a proper justification with the context. Okay, and use a version controlled system, and we can also periodically review all the suppressions. By that we will get to know like what are all the suppressor list. Okay, and how to manage false positives we will get properly. Moving to the next question, a developer accidentally pushes his secrets into a GitLab, okay, and GitHub, okay, and what's your incident response workflow? Okay, it's a question regarding a incident response. He asked like how the workflow should work, will work. Okay, in this particular case, immediately it will revoke the exposed secrets and remote credentials and audit usage also. Okay, it is basically like how you would respond as a workflow process. Okay, after this incident was raised, obviously we can revoke. Immediately remove the secrets from that particular commit, and based on the commit, and we can notify the information immediately to the stakeholders and perform some root cause analysis, and we also enforce git hooks with git leaks, and implement a secret scanning for CI continuous integration. What exactly this git leaks does was it will be like a pre-commit stage itself, and whenever if there is any like secret or some sensitive information found, the git leaks or git guardian tools, it will identifies and flags, okay, and notifies to the respective stakeholders and developers. Okay, the next question was, describe how would you use tools like Falco and SysDig to detect runtime threads in a production Kubernetes cluster. I think in the first level of interview also I got a similar question. Okay, have you used the tool like that? Okay, and I said like similar. I mean, I haven't used this. Similar to this, there is a some tool where it will perform the same like cloud security posture management. I think that is the response I have given, and yeah, sorry. Moving to the next question. The next question was the 19th question. If a container escapes to the host node, what layer of security should ideally be in place to mitigate damage? Okay, it is regarding a network related question, and comes into Kubernetes. Okay, and in this particular case, obviously we need to have a kernel level isolation and node identity and access management policy, like identity and IAM roles and policies with limited access. Okay, IAM roles only, not a policies. Okay, IAM user we used to say. Okay, and yeah, definitely we are supposed to audit the logs for like what exactly the causing error, like wrong detection, and certain runtime we can use the tools like Falco and for alerting. Actually, basically Falco is for alerting. Okay, you are tasked with designing a DevSecOps pipeline, okay, for multi-cloud app. How would you structure this particular thing? Okay, it is very a real-time question. Okay, so you should able to answer that. Okay, as a experienced person, they will definitely expect this kind of architecture level design questions also. Okay, so personally I have like designed a DevSecOps workflow architecture for different projects as per the client requirements. And okay, coming to the answer this part, first of all we can segregate the I mean, we can clearly segregate the what is the requirement. Let's say if it is a full-fledged DevSecOps, we need to make sure SSDLC secure software development life cycle, like placeholders should be placed, and also we need to make sure what cloud services or some services and tools whatever we are using, and what tools we are going to integrate into CI/CD. Like we have like multiple tools in the in the market, right? So we are obviously not going to use every tool. As a placeholder, we need to choose a specific tool in the CI/CD, like in each and a category, in each and every category: SCA, Snake, SAST, SonarCube, and IAC scanning, Terraform, DAST scanning, Zap, image scanning, Trevi, and policy as a code gateways are created within the CI/CD pipeline, and also we need to make sure what is the target deployment environment. Okay, so based on that, if it is a Kubernetes, we need to make sure maintain a Helm plus Argo CD, or if it is GitLab, like based upon our target environment, we need to design all the things accordingly. Okay, and obviously if it is a multi-cloud application, it is a microservice application. Okay, so scaling, auto scaling, and maintaining multiple Docker images and containers will come into picture. So the tech stack whatever we are following, we need to make sure to clear on that. Later we can start designing this. Okay, this is the workflow how it will start. It will get the code from the respective developer or development team, and we are going to integrate a Git webhooks where it will automatically trigger a pipeline, and as a placeholder in the pipeline SSDLC, all the phases will come into picture, and in each placeholder we already integrated your tools into that, and once the scanning was done, and it will deploy into a like Docker images, and that images will be maintained by the Kubernetes. Okay, and moving to the next question, let's move further. Okay, I think we are almost done, but we have some questions to discuss. Okay, the 21st question was, how do you scan and validate Helm charts before they applied in a production namespace? Obviously for scanning a Helm charts, we can use Helm lint for system issues. Sorry, syntax issues, not a system issues. It will basically, lint will basically identifies if any syntax issues before going to the production. It is a kind of a mandatory step and good to follow step we need to follow, and we need to like validate the manifest files. There is a tool cube vulnerability, like cube VAL, and cube confirm also one of the manifest validation utility. You can use that, and we can run configuration test with custom repo policies. Okay, and we can include these within the Jenkins or GitLab pipeline whatever we are using with a specific gating logics behind that also. Okay, so by that it will validate accordingly and fails the job if required, and notifies to the stakeholder or developer if required. Okay, and the next question was, what tools or scripts do you use to enforce tagging and labeling of all cloud resources via Terraform. Okay, it is regarding a Terraform question, like what tools or scripts we are using to enforce proper labeling and tagging for all cloud related resources by using Terraform is working fine. Okay, so okay, sorry, I was thinking on something. Okay, coming to the response, like whenever we are if there is a certain pipeline which is written in a script, right? Obviously, we need to validate like whatever the infrastructure creation files within this pipeline that that need to be validated before going to be applied. Okay, and I mean, within the pipeline we need to validate and perform TFSec or like IAC scan. Okay, and also we can use wrapper module within that that requires a tagging inputs. Okay, that is also one of the method. And the next question was describe a secure CI/CD workflow for deploying microservices in EKS with minimal human interventions. Okay. The workflow includes like developer commits and the pipeline. It will trigger a pipeline, let's say GitLab pipeline, and security scans runs like software composition analysis, SAST, image scanning, like policy validations. Okay, and upon success, Helm charts is deployed via Argo CD to EKS. Okay, and Argo CD is configured with role-based access controls and uses some proper sealed secrets, and rollbacks handled via Git version history. And moving to the next question, what's your approach to evaluating and onboarding a new security tool into an existing pipeline? It was a kind of I mean, it is very high question in the sense like very important question also. Like let's say he was asking the question in the onboarding level. Okay, let's say how you will take decision, what plan of action do you implement while onboarding a new tool or ecosystem into the existing environment. Okay, and first of all, we need to make sure run a POC, like a proof of concept in a specific isolated environment, and we need to measure what is the coverage, false positives or integration effort of the tool. Okay, and like which are all enrollments will be supported. We need to also analyze the cost and what is the benefit of the out of the tool. Okay, and we need to make sure perform a pilot batch of 1 to 2 services, and we need to make sure to gather the feedback from them, and then we can gradually expand across a project level into the production. Okay, and we need to make sure document onboarding and expectations, like in the future expectations point of view also. Okay, so I got a chance to onboard a new tool, like not only one, many tools in like earlier projects I have worked. So that is the experience I have. And if you have a different level of experience also, it is, I mean, basically the tool onboarding will be depends upon the like what is the culture of the OEM. Okay, like a product who are selling that product. Okay, so moving to the next question. How do you align security requirements with the fast moving agile teams that prioritize delivery? Okay, in this particular case, security obviously need to come into the like DevOps, like pipeline, along with the fastness, okay, effectiveness. Security should be also there. Okay, so we need to make sure embed the security early in the development stage itself, and also we need to automate it. Okay, it's not like manually validating for securities like that. We need to integrate in the early stages of the CI/CD pipeline. Okay, early stages of the SDLC, we can say, software development lifecycle. And also we need to make sure use a non-blocking scans with the actionable feedback, and we can create a templates and reusable CI/CD snippets, and we can also share the reports via the dashboards, not just break the builds instead of that. Okay, and participate in planning of a shift security left method with the minimal disturbance of the existing ecosystem. Okay, so shift left security was the like final target. Okay, and we need to guide the developers accordingly, train the developers accordingly. Okay, so yeah, I think these are the questions what we have covered, and there are certain generic questions like there are 3 to 4 more questions also, but I haven't mentioned explicitly. Why? Because I can discuss that vocally. So these are the questions which is majorly covered regarding technically. I see, if you see in the first level of technical discussion, I think around 25 questions also. I mean 25 questions only. And here also I see the similar number of questions and some more generic questions. In the first round of interview, there is no much like generic questions. He just asked, is there any questions like that? And it ended like smoothly. And here I like pitched some questions, and also he asked like how many projects have you worked till now, and like what is the scope of your contribution or work in that particular projects. Have you handled the projects like from scratch, where from building a ecosystem like that? Okay, and I provided like responses accordingly as per the experience I have. And he I mean the questions I pitched was like regarding the team and like collaborate like activity. I asked like let's say if I was selected for this particular role, what is the team size which I am going to work, and what will be the major focus area I need to do. Okay, and also I also asked a kind of feedback upon me, and he said like feedback will be shared to the talent acquisition team, and let's see what it comes. And obviously it's a good exposure for me, I think so, for you guys also. And you might feel the questions are simple for some of you, and the questions are harder for some of you. And at the end of the day, your skills, your expertise, your exposure matters. So that's what I wanted to say. So don't get depressed if you don't know, and just keep learning, do practice, and apply for interviews. And some tips I wanted to share was Consistency, as I say in most of the videos, it is very much important. You need to be consistent in job application, and be patient. Okay, so don't think like this is this is the one I am targeting, but I am not like up to the mark. I was not sure like why I was not getting a offer or moving further my profile. So yeah, okay. Okay then, stay tuned for more videos. Thank you so much for watching the video.